I like it. It's a beautiful thing. Hello, SwitchPoint. Thank you for having me. It's with great gratitude and a lot of humility that I am here today to share a story with you. I was asked by Heather Lagarde to speak at this conference, actually at my house. We were having a dinner for a volleyball party, and we were chatting away. And she was telling me about the conference, and I got very enraptured by her enthusiasm and her charm, and anybody that knows her will understand how I'm feeling. So she asked me to speak, and I enthusiastically said yes. And then about a week later, I went into a massive downward spiral about what on earth I was going to talk about. And I'll tell you why. You guys have probably all read this, but here is the mission of this conference, is why it exists. A conference and community focused on the intersection between humanitarian, innovation, global development, health, design, and technology. I run an advertising agency for a living. I'm not quite sure, we're not global. We don't put on conferences. I guess we're sort of innovative. I'm not sure about the humanitarian side. So the good news is the downward spiral sent me on a voyage of self-discovery that actually reconnected me with what it is I do for a living and why it can be enormously powerful. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to share that journey with you and hopefully add some value to the day in the process. So the first thing I did, as any good advertising guy would do, was I took the brief that I was given and I changed it. So this is what my presentation's about. Mad men are not bad men. Seems appropriate for the audience. Is everybody familiar with the show? Hands? So most people know the show. So this show alone actually did some good, because if the show hadn't been successful, AMC probably wouldn't exist today, and nor would it ever have spawned all the other shows like the zombie shows that they do, et cetera, et cetera. So I've already done some good in the world for those that happen to like that channel. But for perspective, this is me. I'm this guy in the show. That's Roger Sterling. He's the president. That's what I do too. The thing about the show, enjoyable though it is, and I love it, is it is one of the many, many shows that do a disservice to what I do for a living, because it's simply not true. I have not had 4 bottles of scotch before I came here. I haven't smoked a big doobie before I came, or well, maybe I have. I don't smoke cigarettes, and I'm not rude to my assistant. In fact, I like to think I'm very polite. So it does a big disservice. Similarly, as I continued this spiral of unworthiness as to why I would be here. I wasn't in Syria or Africa yesterday. In fact, I was in Cleveland selling clickable banners to our paint client. If you look at the list of least trusted professionals by Gallup, number 3, bronze medal. Woo! We can't even be the best of being the worst. So you'll understand where this sense of unworthiness comes from. What's interesting, though, I think, about this list is all of them are either intrusive, they are a necessary evil, and they all have the power to be enormously influential. Maybe car salespeople don't, but they all have the power to be enormously influential. To add to my downward spiral, McKinney, which is an agency based in Durham, but we also have an office in New York, also has our 2 biggest clients, are a seller of used cars and an insurance company. All right, so where do I go from there? The point is, what I do can be enormously influential. And there's a couple of ways it can be enormously influential, but its influence necessarily, because of the modern economy, is changing fundamentally. According to a company called Media Dynamics, people are exposed to 360 ads every single day, and they recognize or note about half of them. According to the Harvard Business School, there were 52,000 commercials that were exposed to people in 2013. And there's $177 billion spent on advertising. So whether we like it or not, whether you find it annoying or not, or whether you find it entertaining or not, there is potential within the advertising industry to be enormously influential. The question is what is the nature of that influence? In 2010, one of the biggest companies in the world, Unilever, $126 billion market cap, about $66 billion in sales, underwent a major transformation. The chief marketing officer of that company, a guy called Keith Weed, also wrote a sustainability plan and became the chief marketing officer and the sustainability officer. The reason that they did that was because it is what people care about. And throughout the history of time, the best advertising, the stuff that you like, the stuff that you remember, has connected with you because it talked about what you care about. The reason why they underwent a wholesale change, and it's a big company, is because the internet has brought massive transparency to the way business gets done. And in so doing, because people can see behind the curtain and then have a vehicle to share it, the control of our brands is in the hands of people. It's no longer in the hands of customers. So if you don't engage people in a conversation that is what they care about and in a forum that they care about, you are dead as a commercial enterprise. And quite frankly, whether or not your purpose is inherently commercial or inherently humanitarian, you will not be impactful. So Unilever, all of these brands that you recognize, are really one of the two biggest companies that invented things like soap operas, invented marketing to a certain degree, has fundamentally changed the way it does business, that feels inherently humanitarian and for the good of the world, because it must, because it's what people care about. In fact, their advertising campaign, on which they spend hundreds of millions of dollars, is called Acts of Sunlight. And if I can read that to you, collective change, we are proud to be partners with others who strive for sustainability. It is fundamentally what that company is about. And more importantly, as a marketing message, it is why they exist. And sharing the why you exist, not the what you make, the why you exist, is the key to connecting with people, whether it be in a mass way, whether it be for commercial reasons or whether it be for any other reason. We believe this with every fiber of our being at McKinney, and I'm going to share two videos with you which are innately different because one is for a shoe company called Mizuno who sells really expensive shoes. Their shoes are about $225 a pair. But the conversation that we wanted to have with people is not what they sold, but why they do it, and the why they do it is inherently powerful and good.
Even as unemployment and foreclosures rise all around them, the average person living a comfortable existence can't imagine allowing their...
All right, I'm going to have to start that again because we've lost a video. So forget everything I just said. I'm going to talk about Urban Ministries of Durham, which many of you may have heard of. Connecting the why people should care about an issue like homelessness. If you think about it, the competition for headspace for a charitable organization is equally as challenging as it is for a commercial company. In fact, more so because their funds are limited. You can spend the kind of money that Unilever spends, and you can move a market by the sheer amount of noise that you're making. You don't have that option to do that when you're a small charity. So this is a video about how we helped Urban Ministries of Durham connect and be powerful and punch more above their weight than they ever could by finding the right why and connecting with people in a way that they would care about.
Even as unemployment and foreclosures rise all around them, The average person living a comfortable existence can't imagine allowing their lives to sink so low as to beg for food on a street corner. And as a result, people are less likely to give time, money, and resources to homelessness than other causes like cancer or education. Unlike other organizations, Urban Ministries of Durham doesn't just treat the homeless. It also serves those who are in danger of becoming homeless, people who look a lot like us.
And if you ever wondered how bad it could get and how quickly it could happen, here's a challenge for you. You're out of work, almost out of savings, almost out of hope, and you have tough choices to make. You have $95 in your bank account, and your child needs $15 for a class field trip. What do?
Spent forces players to face the consequences of every decision those living on the brink must face. Players see the financial toll their decisions take with a scale that tracks available funds. They feel an emotional toll when they can't afford to contribute $20 to help a sick coworker, or when they have no other choice but to swallow their pride and ask friends on Facebook for help. The game either ends when you run out of money or when you can't take it anymore. But if you're lucky, you'll make it through the month. Could you make it?
So by connecting with the what people care about and finding a way to translate that through the gamification, getting people to feel what it feels like to be homeless, we created influence for good way, way beyond whatever could have happened, probably even in a commercial environment. And for a point of comparison as to just how powerful that is, in the battle for engagement and people's mind share, when people go onto the NewYorkTimes.com, they spend 5.7 minutes looking at content. They spent 11.3 with this game. That's remarkable, given the amount of content and the way that people engage with a publication as powerful as the New York Times. So I would offer, if you figure out what people care about most, not what makes you different as an organization, not what you think they care about, but why they would be interested in you in the first place, and connect that to your mission, then find a way that's interesting and a platform for engagement that they care about on their terms, you can get your message out there in a way that's at least twice as powerful as the New York Times. So from a madman, I thank you for the journey back to goodness in my career. I appreciate it. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Am I coming down? Where am I going?